Hi, my name is Cameron. I'm here today to talk to you about bias in the media and how you can avoid it. First of all, we're going to start off by analyzing the different types of bias. There's confirmation bias, groupthink and bandwagon effect, anchoring bias, selection bias observer, and the expectancy effect. But today, we're going to focus on groupthink and the bandwagon effect. What is groupthink? Well, Forbes defines it as when a team or organization becomes so similar in their outlook that they lose the ability to be creative in their decision making. The result is an environment where perspectives aren't challenged. So this means that basically everyone is on the same standard, there's no variation in teamwork, and creativity is at a minimum. This makes for a very ineffective lifestyle. So as humans, we are animals of expression. We show expression in music, art, and architecture. Everything that we do, including this presentation, has some form of ourselves embedded in it through, of course, expression. This holds true for media as well. Anything that you watch on TV, whether it be a late night drama, especially a newscast, has some form of bias from the producers or even the anchors themselves. What are the types of bias in media? Well, there's bias through selection and omission, through placement, by headline, excuse the bell, by word choice and tone, by photo, captions, and camera angles, through the use of names and titles, through statistics and crowd counts, and by source control. Source control meaning where you get your sources from can be biased as well. One example of media bias are these 8 covers of Time magazine. Of course, 4 of them depict former President Barack Obama, and the other 4 depict current President Donald Trump. The images of Barack Obama are bright and welcoming. It is an actual photo of Barack Obama, and in most of them, all of them in fact, he is smiling. If you look at the 4 of President Donald Trump, there are no real pictures of him. They're all artist depictions. Personally, I believe this is an attempt to dehumanize him and distance him from the public. You can see he doesn't even have eyes in the first 2, making him seem even less human. And in the 4th one, he's in a storm. There's just a lot of negativity surrounding the bottom 4, whereas the top 4 are almost, picture perfect as far as the depiction of the president. So now that we've established that there is, in fact, bias that exists in all media, I would like to just name a few, and I know this is a very confusing chart. This is the center of the aisle, if you will. Right is Republican-leaning views, and left is Democrat-leaning views. So as far as right-leaning views, Republican, extreme views are held by Breitbart, InfoWars, New American, the Federalist, National Review, New York Post, Washington Times, Fox News, Forbes, Barron's, and a few other media outlets. As far as extreme left, you've got NPR, CBS News, Time, Politico, Washington Post, New York Times, Vice, The Guardian, Fortune, Fusion, among others, including GQ, and a lot of left outlets have a social media presence. I can attest to the fact that Vice, for example, has a daily news show on Snapchat, and their leftist views are very prominent when one is viewing this daily newscast. So this chart can be a little bit confusing. So, broke it down for you. If you are a little bit uninformed and want to get an equal taste of everything, the Goldilocks zone, if you will, includes news outlets which are not extremely biased. It still exists though, but these include the New York Post, Wall Street Journal, BBC, The Economist, PolitiFact, Ballotpedia, ABC News, CNN, CBS, PBS, New York Times, Washington Post, and NPR. There are still, however, some that you should look out for if you're not looking to be exposed to extreme bias, which include Breitbart, Fox News, The American Spectator on the right side, and on the left side, Huffington Post, The Guardian, MSNBC, and BuzzFeed. So, moving on, what can you do to avoid bias and keep yourself educated, informed, and well aware of what's going on in today's world? Well, in photography, there is a technique called exposure. Through exposure, a camera lens takes in more information than it normally would. More information, meaning more light, as a camera lens only takes in a specific amount of light to take a photo. So through exposure, you can take in more information, or light in your case, to create a whole different picture and provide clarity for news now and for years to come. But you also have to be aware that bias exists in Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Pinterest, Instagram, Snapchat. It is everywhere in today's day and age. There's no escaping it, and the best you can do is be informed and prepare yourself.